Chucky. And I'm your friend to the end. Heidi fucking ho. Ha, ha, ha.
And welcome back to Chucky Queers. It's our weekly coverage of Don Mancini's Chucky series on Sci-Fi. And I'm Joe.
And I'm Trace, and we are discussing the Season 2 premiere, Halloween 2.
Yep, I love that we're sticking with the classics, and this is interesting, Trace. We are time jumping, we are setting up a bunch of stuff, but this is still very we're focusing on the kids, and our legacy characters are mostly absent.
Yes, this is very much a catch-up episode, and let's move into the next season. Now, granted, though, I will say, I enjoyed this quite a bit. Most of these, I like these characters so much.
Me too. Yeah, honestly, seeing that Devin and Jake are still together and that Lexi is still just a touch of a bitch, I was like, I feel like I'm back in my happy place.
We also got horror movie references galore.
Oh, Jesus. So many.
Child murder.
Trace, I was not expecting child murder, and I was so there for it. Which is a shame, because this child, what is his name?
Gary?
Poor little Gary. I was like, here's a child that I actually kind of... Oh, Gary's dead.
Okay, and again, also Don Mancini's signature lamp shading after the second. Holy whatever, Batman, that's getting old real quick.
He knows how to read the room. He makes a joke about it, and we move on. Love you, Don Mancini.
You know, it's so funny. And I could see someone being annoyed by the horror movie references here because, I mean, look, the most obvious ones to me are Is Tamara Home? We get a lot of The Strangers here.
Okay, I was very much like, we're doing the opening sequence from Halloween with the clown / Chucky trick-or-treater.
Oh, but see, none of it was as, I'm going to say egregious, but I mean it in a good way because I liked it, as Marco Beltrami's score from Scream playing over the phone call between Jake and I'm assuming Chucky.
Right. Yeah, that was pretty fun. I mean, we've seen people make scary phone calls before many, 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 many times. So this was a nice nod, but also it felt a little bit fresher than most of the imitations we've seen before.
I agree. And maybe it's just because the show has such a lack of pretension to it where I'm kind of like, you can do whatever you want. I don't care.
Oh, 100%. And the tone is so sporadically campy, again, in a good way, that it feels like we can bounce from really heartfelt moments between Jake and Devin and their will they, won't they kiss when they're separating to something as ridiculous as Lexi beating the shit out of the Belle doll because she's like, I'm not going to ever trust another doll again.
Or every therapist in this fucking franchise just keeps giving dolls to children.
Oh my God, people, stop giving dolls to children. They are not therapeutic.
She has to be a Chucky, right?
She's some kind of villain, at the minimum. I mean, the fact that she's like, I've been working with this institution for a while. Sorry, it's not an institution. We should get the name correct, yeah.
Oh, Incarnate Lord?
Yes. Which I was just like, oh, wow. I mean, we knew from our conversation with Don Mancini that it was going to go into this kind of religious horror territory, but that is a mouthful of religious horror right there.
In case you didn't think we were having a religious theme, though, because the opening pre-title sequence is Andy crashing his van into that fucking cross from last year that Jake and Devin made out in front of.
Yep, the Silent Hill cross. Did you recognize it this time?
Yes. I get it now.
Yeah, so what did you think of that opening sequence? So we pick up exactly where the climax of season 1 left off with Andy driving this truck full of 72 Chucky dolls. We've got a Tiffany doll holding him hostage at gunpoint. And then, he gets the jump on her, drives the truck over the gorge, and supposedly kills everyone, including himself. And then, of course, not all the Chucky dolls are dead. But there's that moment where the sacrificial Chucky tells Devin and Jake that Andy and Kyle are dead. And I just went,
no, they're not. I mean, look, and we already said this in our episode with Mancini, but yeah, Jennifer Tilly already spoiled that Kyle is alive on her Instagram story. So, but yeah, I don't believe for 1 second that Andy is dead in this universe.
No.
But yeah, One thing I'm a little concerned about, and I'm not concerned, but maybe worried. So for the first season, we had more of like a motive for Chucky, right? Like he wanted to like have these kids kill, like he was trying to like raise a murderer, basically.
Mm-hmm.
With this one, so yes, we have Chucky that tries to blow up all of them with the bomb. Then they get sent to this place that happens to be the exact same place that Charles Lee Ray attended as a little boy.
Correct.
This is clearly a scam. Like they have been intentionally sent here by this psychiatrist. And if that is not the case, then holy moly coincidence, Batman.
Yeah, you're going to eat your shoe. But no, I'm fully in agreement with you. I think that this is a plot. If nothing else, I think it's also Chucky's desire to make other people look as bad as him. So I think it's not just separating them from any adults in their life who might vouch for them, although of course we still have Lexi's mom being an absolute bitch and not helping her at all.
Yeah,
and then we've got terrible foster families. So
also, like, the whole thing is like they get blamed for making, all three of them get blamed for making this bomb, and that's why they get sent off.
Mm-hmm.
I actually didn't realize until I watched this twice that Lexi's mom is still alive.
Right?
I was like, oh, right. I mean, so I knew she was alive earlier in the episode, but for some reason I was like, well, did the bomb kill her too? Why is Lexi going to this school?
No, I think that's one of those sort of suspension of disbelief. Even if Lexi was being blamed for this, I don't think that she would be shipped off to this school because I feel like we just needed that one scene with her bitch mother being like, well, you're going to ruin my re-election campaign.
Yeah.
Like, I'm already down in the polls, so I need to get you out of the public limelight.
But one thing I do like, though, is that Chucky's, he's quote-unquote alone in this with his other Chuckies because he also is going to be going after Tiffany.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was an interesting piece when Andy commented on all of those Chucky dolls not being there, so they didn't recognize him and they didn't recognize Tiffany. So I'm interested to see if that plays a part in the larger story. Like, will these future Chucky dolls actually know who Jennifer Tilly or Tiffany are?
Yeah, actually, and one thing that really made me gasp, even though I don't know why it did, is when they mentioned the movie Bride of Chucky.
I know. I was like, wait, so the movie is canonically real. And like, we always knew that Jennifer Tilly was real in this, but I don't think we knew that she had starred in a movie called The Bride of Chucky. And people knew that she was also the Bride of Chucky.
So that's the thing. Okay, so because if you remember, in Seed of Chucky, Jennifer Tilly is filming the movie Chucky Goes Psycho.
Right.
We didn't know. I didn't know. Honestly, it was never really explained how that came about. Because
it was fine. We went with it. We rolled with it. Yep.
But yeah, so this would imply then that that Chucky Goes Psycho could have been a sequel to Bride of Chucky, or Bride of Chucky was made after Seed of Chucky happened, or Chucky Goes Psycho happened.
Yes.
Nevertheless, Bride of Chucky, or at least a version of Bride of Chucky, exists in this universe, and I cackled.
Oh my God, can you imagine if we get Stab-style reenactments of The Bride of Chucky in this?
I would die. That would be
How
so
fun
cool.
would that be?
That'd be so fun.
Full admission, I don't think we're going to get that, because I think now that we're actually at this school for wayward children and troubled youth and whatever, I think we're really going to start to zero in more on that religious horror that Don Mancini was talking about.
So you are probably correct. However, once Glenn and Glinda come back and they're hanging out with Mom, I wouldn't put it past them to be putting in Bride of Chucky one day.
That is true, yeah, because, I mean, lest we forget, we don't see Jennifer Tilly, although obviously we hear her voice in the Tiffany doll, and we don't see any of Fiona Dourif, and we don't see Kyle, so we definitely know that we're going to be getting things like a Bound reunion, so Gina Gershon is going to show up at some point. We know we're going to get Meg Tilly in some format, Glenda. So it's just a question of, okay, when and how are these other characters going to show up, and are they all going to show up at this school, or are we going to continue to kind of get like separate storylines? And I think it'll be the latter.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I actually forgot too, it's not just Gina Gershon reuniting with Tilly from Bound. Joe Pantoliano is in this season.
Yes, but we do have to refer to him as Joey Pants the whole time.
Why do people call him Joey Pants?
I don't know. I feel like it's something that I heard when The Matrix became super, super popular. People are just like, Joey Pants.
And everyone, of course, your reminder from us, if you've not watched Bound, go fucking do it before Gina Gershon comes on this show.
This is true. Yeah. The number of people who either didn't know that she was going to show up or that were like, oh, I don't understand. Why are people excited by this reunion? It was just like, folks, the Wachowskis have a perfect film and it's not The Matrix.
Yeah.
It's Bound. The Matrix is also a perfect film. But
oh, yeah, I love The Matrix. I mean, but honestly, though, I don't ever really feel like rewatching The Matrix. I do feel like rewatching Bound.
I feel like rewatching both of them.
That's fair. Do you think that Lexi's drug problem is going to carry us through this season, or are we going to hopefully ditch
100%.
that?
At least through part of this season. The whole fact that she nearly delays getting them blown up because she takes so long to do her snort job.
Snorting clonazepam.
Yeah, ooh, no, girl, no.
Mm-mm.
But it's pretty obvious that it's going to be an issue because she clearly has a substance abuse issue.
No, I feel like a big issue. I feel like she's going to be getting framed for having drugs, even though she's not going to be doing drugs. I feel like, I'm kind of like, oh, please don't do that, because I just don't care about that. But make it meaningful and I'll care about it.
Yeah, Lexi's an interesting character. I didn't realize that there were still a bunch of people who never really forgave her for her actions in the first part of the first season. Like, I've very much come around on the character,
yeah.
And I think it's in part because they did a lot of goodwill actions with her in the back half of the season, and she's smart, right? Like, the kids are all smart, which makes me like them a lot more because they're not acting like fucking idiots like a lot of the parents are,
right?
Which is great. Like, write more smart children, please, then I wouldn't be so happy to watch them die. But I think Lexi's substance abuse issues will be a factor, whether it's her going through withdrawal, her getting into trouble because she's snuck some of them in, and then we also get a telltale hint of a new character called Trevor Kane.
Yes,
the person who turned Lexi into her diva bitch self in that first season. So I'm very interested to see if that will be a friend or foe.
Ooh, me too. Do we know who's playing that character?
I didn't look it up, but I'll be interested to know if this is just going to be like a new Canadian Discovery, kind of like what we did in the first season.
Well, because we are getting the return of Devon Sawa at some point, too.
This is true.
You know what's going to happen? You know what's going to fucking happen? She did bring drugs, and one of these dolls is going to fucking crush up the drugs and put it in a nun's drink and overdose her, and Lex is going to get blamed for it.
Yeah, I mean, I do think the kids are going to continue to get blamed for this because we've set up this precedent that they are troubled youth who have fallen into vice and sin and so on. So I think we should expect that, anything that is bad that's going to happen is going to get blamed on them. I will say, I was a little surprised at how we really just threw Junior under the bus. Apparently, Lexi's mom was like, oh yeah, he killed everyone in that movie theater in the finale. Whoa!
Including stabbing my husband in the butt to death.
Yeah, I did like that we got all those kind of like quick flashbacks to the season one. Like, hey, did you remember? Oh yeah, we killed her dad by stabbing him in the butt.
But I mean, yeah. So I mean, I liked this episode quite a bit. It is just like that catch up thing. I'm like, okay, like I'm ready to get into the meat of this season. You know.
I actually thought that we were going to get there a little bit earlier, so I almost got a little impatient at the end of the episode. Like, we know where we're going, let's just get there already. I didn't realize it was going to take us the entire episode.
Yeah, no, I'm in the same boat as you, but you know what? We've got 7 more episodes. Yeah, seven more episodes to come and give us all this goodness.
Yep, and we've already got a FedEx, or whatever FedEx equivalent is in this world, delivering a Chucky box at the end of this episode, so we know that Chucky's already on the premises. We've got a slightly creepy nun in Sister Ruth, so she's going to be a problem, I think. And then I did love that we end the episode on that super creepy kind of God Loves You children's song.
Yes.
Chef's Kiss, perfect for setting the tone.
It's like, sorry, I knew the melody of that, but it was never a religious song. It was like, skidama-rinka-rinka-dink, skidama-rinka-doo, I love you. But it's God in this one.
Yes, exactly. It's corrupted.
So, okay, well, predictions for next week, Joe. Do you think we're going to get a character returning?
I'll be curious, because in that first season, we really waited until nearly the halfway point to start introducing legacy people. So I think we might get a quick little glimpse, kind of like what we did with Andy in the cold open here. We might touch base with Nika and Jennifer Tilly. but I think it'll be brief, and I think we're really going to spend a lot of time introducing new kids to kill and maybe some nuns and priests to kill.
I do think we are going to get Tiffany and Nika. I don't think we're going to get Glenda yet.
No, I think that's going to be the halfway point. We're not going to get them for a good long time.
No, I agree. Because I'm assuming the reason we held off on these legacy characters for the first half of season 1 was because for people who hadn't watched all of the Chucky films, like this had to be an easily get into show without having to know all the lore. Now, though, we're beyond that.
Well, I think that, and we needed to spend enough time with Devin and Jake and Lexi to actually care about them, so that it wasn't just like, oh, we don't care about these human characters, we're only here for Chucky and Tiffany. And I agree with you that I think we're past that, but we also, because the board has been reset, for lack of a better term, we're going to have to spend a bunch of time getting new victims. We need new bodies so that we can kill them all. So I think that's what the next episode is going to spend a ton of time doing.
Yeah. No, yeah, I think you're right. I do think we'll get Devin Sawa's priest character in. And then, I don't know, maybe this Trevor kid's going to die.
I think he'll show up, but I think he'll hang around in a junior sort of way.
Oh, God. Yeah. Okay. Okay, everyone. Well, until next week when we go over episode 2 of season 2 of Chucky, we can, cross out Chucky.
There we go. Yes. Cross out Chucky Queers.
Atlas Avenue, a long stretch of road that encompasses everything the city of Kennett Heights has to offer. Neon lights, traffic, crime, the hustle and bustle of everyday life, and the craziest of characters. My office was above it all. My name is James Locke, and I'm a PI.
Hello, Mr. J. How the hell you doing today?
Good, Edith. Nearly every year I have a new case. New people to meet, new clues to discover, and new problems to solve. But I do it the old-fashioned way. No technology. Nothing post-1950. Hell, I don't even listen to podcasts, but you should. Atlas Avenue Beat is a spoof of the film noir genre with goofy characters, tons of wordplay, and non-stop raunchy humor. There's also 3 whole seasons out right now with more on the way. Just search for Atlas Avenue Beat wherever you listen to podcasts or visit us online at bloody.fm.
It was late in the afternoon when the professor and I took our way towards the east, whence I knew Jonathan was coming.
Jonathan Harker has asked me to note this, as he says he is hardly equal to the task, and he wants an exact record kept.
Dear Madam Mina, I have read your husband's so wonderful diary. Strange and terrible as it is true. I will pledge my life on it.
God preserve my sanity, for to this I am reduced. Safety and the assurance of safety are things of the past.
I am in hopes that I shall see more of you at Castle Dracula.
Listen to Regarding Dracula wherever you listen to podcasts, or find us online at bloody.fm.